Hello everyone, my name is Florian. You may know me from Star Wars Twitter at German Jedi or from my book and comics fan site jedibibliothek.de. And today I'm doing a rare English video in which I will tell you what I thought about the first wave of Star Wars The High Republic books. If you didn't live on a rock, you may have heard that Star Wars The High Republic is a new publishing campaign by Marvel, Disney, Lucasfilm Press, Del Rey, and IDW, which tells a new tale of a new era set 200 years before Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And Disney have been gracious enough to let me have an early look at the first 5 titles from this new program, which I've been assured will run for several years. And, today I'll just briefly go through them and tell you what I thought about each and every one of them, while avoiding spoilers, because I wouldn't dream of ruining some of the surprises contained within these pages for you, because a story is best experienced for yourself. Kicking off the publishing program is Star Wars Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. A novel, what's there to say? It's basically Star Wars Sugar Rush from page 1 to the last page. The first third, it grips you, it hits the ground running, and it's kind of just hell yeah Star Wars from the first page on. While the Jedi rush to fend off a great disaster that threatens a large part of the galaxy, you meet many exciting new characters, and it really feels like a saga film compressed into the page. As I said, the first third, it kind of feels like the beginning of The Force Awakens, where everything is possible. You hit the ground running, you meet all these new characters and places, and you fall in love with them as they go about their adventure. The second and third act of the book then deepen the lore and also introduce new villains in the form of the Nihil, about which you'll learn more at another point. I don't think it's my place here to spoil much about them. My favorite characters are Bell Zettifar, somebody who's not undercover, and, another character not undercover, Marchion Ro, who is the main villain, one of the Nihil. Very fascinating character that actually scared me at times, so that doesn't happen a lot. So you're in for a treat here, let me tell you. Basically, Charles Soule wrote, and this is no exaggeration, the perfect Star Wars novel. I haven't had this much fun in years, and that's not the fault of the novels in the recent years, because there were many great books. It's just to stress how special this tale is. You really do not want to miss it. So this is the tentpole release, as I said, that kicks off the saga of the High Republic. But of course there is more to come, and while this releases on January 5th from Del Rey, Disney Lucasfilm Press also has a middle grade novel out the same day, which is titled A Test of Courage by Justina Ireland. In it we follow a group of Jedi, not just Jedi, and other Republic or Republic-affiliated personnel, led by Venestra Ro, the Mirialan with the lightsaber that you can see in the front, and who is, by the way, also a favorite character of mine from this initiative, because she's an all-around badass. She's young, she's intelligent, wise beyond her years. One of these people, who excel at everything, but still, have doubts, still wonder about the deeper mysteries of the Force. And I gotta say, it was a really mature novel, even though it's for a middle grade audience. I felt, very much that it respects its audience, and by putting drama and loss, at the focus of this tale, even though the High Republic is this glorious age, there's still a lot of pain to go around between the characters, and that really fascinated me. And I'd say that it's the best middle grade novel in recent memory, definitely since the Adventures in Wild Space and Servants of the Empire series. And again, I can't make you read middle grade, but if you feel like you're up to it, you won't be disappointed, I hope. Out a day after, from Marvel Comics, is the first issue of the ongoing Star Wars The High Republic comic book series, written by Kevin Scott of Dooku Jedi Lost fame, and penciled by Ario Anindito, with inks by Mark Morales. Now, I've only read a short excerpt from the first issue, kind of like 2/3. Most of it was in script form, and the rest was black and white inks. Still, I can already say about the art that it is gorgeous and had some very poster-worthy moments, even in black and white. We also hit the ground running here in a tale that is set towards the end of Light of the Jedi, possibly even after it. I'll have to check again once I've got the full issue in hands, which focuses on Keith Trennis and her master Skier, the Trandoshan Jedi from the cover, who has a very interesting teaching personality, and Keith again also a very interesting character with a fun banter going on between the two of them, as you know, as Keith actually is doing her trials in this issue. And while she's doing those trials, you know, the sequence is interspersed with cuts to Starlight Beacon, where we also meet more Jedi. We meet Avar Kriss, and really feels like it flows organically from the end of Light of the Jedi, though it doesn't reveal too much. At least the preview that I had didn't reveal too much about what happens afterwards. I feel confident that it'll be able to bridge the books, as it were, until the next adult novel arrives, while telling adventures in its own right. I'd recommend finishing Light of the Jedi before starting this, just because there are some minor spoilers in the early pages already. You know, that's January for you, and in February there are 2 more new titles joining the fray. First of all, Claudia Gray's young adult novel Into the Dark, focusing on Jedi Padawan Reef Silas, you can see here, who's a rather, you know, untypical Padawan, because he doesn't want to be where the action is. He kind of prefers the library, which will make him instantly relatable to all bookworms in the galaxy, in our galaxy at least. But he also doesn't shy away from an adventure when it actually finds him, so he's not a coward or anything. He's just like the more bookish Padawan who kind of prefers the amenities of the core worlds like Coruscant to the Outer Rim. Well, you know, things don't go as planned for him, and he kind of ends up in unpleasant situations far away from the core. What's there to say without spoiling too much? The protagonists are all well characterized, as we are familiar with Claudia Gray's style. You probably have no doubts about her ability to write engaging characters. And there are great levels of continuity and cross-referencing in there, including the reappearance of a certain space station you may have met last year, or this year, in another not a novel, in a comic book. Well, you know, you'll recognize it when you see it. That's pretty great. I had some minor issues with this one in the middle part, where I felt the pacing kind of hit a slump, but it's still pretty damn good, and with Claudia Gray you know what you're getting, and it's gonna be great. I wonder where Reef Silas, the main character, will go after this book. I'm really, you know, kind of interested. One more thing I want to say about this is it had a character that is rather unusual, and until the end I wasn't quite sure if it's actually a real character or just a joke by the author, and you know, actually I'm still not quite convinced either way. I hope that character will reappear just to clear some things up that have been left hanging in the air. Alright, and last but most certainly not least, for a, you know, this Into the Dark was for young adult readers. Moving back into the world of comics, again for middle grade readers or younger audiences, there are the High Republic Adventures, which is an ongoing comic book series from IDW. And unlike the Star Wars Adventures that you know and love, hopefully, these aren't short tales, but it seems to be a longer, more connected story, which is exciting because that's something I've wanted from IDW for a while now. It's difficult for me to say a lot about it since I've only read a partial script and seen some early art. I know that some more art has been released in a sampler this weekend that I haven't had the occasion to peruse yet, but yeah, what I've gleaned so far establishes a dual narrative structure between a group of Jedi Padawans training under Yoda on a ship traveling the galaxy, and as you know, most of which is focused on a Padawan named Lula Talisola, who you can see on this wonderful cover by Harvey Tolibao, and the tale, which was written by Daniel Jose Older, focuses also on a secondary group of young people that are kind of, I think they're in a cult, and that rejects the Force and the Jedi. And, you know, one of them has a rather ironic secret, you can probably already guess. The sample contained a Nihil attack on the homeworld of these young people, Trimand 4, I think it was called. And it set up, as I said, a larger arc than Adventures usually has. I'm quite interested in seeing where this is going, especially with an artist from the beloved Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic comics. This is probably going to be better and more adult than some of the Adventures comics of recent times. Even though it doesn't have Jackson from all appearances. Well, you know, they maybe they will once Kevin Scott gets to write an issue. Who knows? So, moving on to some general thoughts, I thought that these 5 titles offered a highly interesting appetizer of things to come, especially Light of the Jedi. You know, this is really the publishing side of Star Wars, telling their own story, setting up their own eras, their own saga for the coming years. And it's completely independent from the films. Sure, there are some nods, even some heavy-handed nods to things to come, or, well, not things to come per se, but characters or planets and, you know, places that you know. Some thematic echoes as well. But otherwise, you know, it's not beholden to any upcoming film. It's not a journey to anything. I know they just announced this television show, The Acolyte by Leslie Headland. But that's also set well over 100 years after these titles. So again, a lot of time that passes, a lot of freedom for these 5 writers to give us their best in the coming years. I will say that it was staggering at first to see so many Jedi at once after years of only, you know, master-student combos or lone wolf Jedi, be it on the screen or in publishing. So that was, you know, it took some getting used to this, to have these many Force users who also openly and quite willingly use the Force. And but it was great. It was a great ride, and I really love that we are finally getting some Force lore again, some new perspectives. It felt fresh, it felt exciting, and it's clearly only the first step in a larger adventure to come, and you can count me in for the ride. Okay. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Thank you for listening, and follow me at German Jedi on Twitter to continue this discussion about Star Wars The High Republic in coming weeks. Bye!